Ryan, have you ever thought about being an architect?
Have you ever thought about being a truck driver?
Have you ever thought about being a salesperson?
What about something in the medical field?
Realtor? Listen to Career Paths every Thursday
Wherever you listen to podcasts,
and on YouTube. You might learn something.
you might not.
It's your life. Make it happen.
Memories fading, we all forget. It's not so shiny things you do.
Career Paths. Welcome to Career Paths by Infonet. I'm your host, Victor Boudreau. Behind the camera, behind the scenes again, Mr. Ryan Keegan. Say hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
He's over that way. With her.
I'm looking.
Oh,
I don't see.
God, there's a hand.
I was looking in my own room. Ryan, where are you?
Watch out. He will get you. Yeah, get behind the chair. Today's guest is Mr. Tom Taylor. Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
Well, hello. How you doing there, Vic Boudreau?
I'm doing fabulous. I told you, we already talked about this when we hooked up. This is my first online interview since we started doing Career Paths. We have one that's Ryan did a week ago, a 2-parter, 3-parter, 12-parter, something like that with a gentleman.
Multi.
Right.
So Tom, how's life going for you right now? Keeping busy?
It's going great. I have been, very busy. I'm right in the middle of 8 gigs in 9 days. I have today off, and then I go back to work for actually 6 gigs coming up. So, yeah, 9 gigs and.
So let's clarify. You are a musician, working musician. You have been for years. That's actually how you and I met, because we were in a band years ago.
One of my first. That's right.
And Tom and I go way back playing music.
Absolutely.
And then did we get on stage with my band at the your sister's 50th party? Yeah,
that's
right. We got both of you guys up at the time. So
that was pretty cool.
Tom, you're entertainer, musician, gigging on a regular basis. You have been forever. That's part of the way how you make your income. What else do you do for a living these days, or your career?
And also a videographer. I do lots of projects for realtors. I did a guy who was with the puppet, in New York, the famous Sesame Street puppets. He was one of the original guys, and he did a thing called the Jewish Puppet Show, and and really cool green screen stuff with him doing, tons of work all last winter. So I do all kinds of like stop motion animation. It's really and photo montage type graphic design and video.
Wow. I know you're doing video editing. That's kind of how we started, even though we reconnected several years ago, but I didn't know you did video editing. So this interview will be the first one. Tom, you're going to add stuff, some of the background, some pictures and such. You're going to get to play with it. So by the time somebody's watching this on our YouTube channel, it's going to be jazzy and extras going on behind and with whatever you add to it, because then we'll put it out after that.
That sounds great. Yes, that'll be fun.
You get to jazz it up. So give us a little background on yourself. You're single. You do have a son, Ethan.
I do.
I met Ethan not too long ago. Great son.
Good kid.
Do you want to give away how old you are?
He's going to be 15 in October. So
Do you want to give away how old you are?
I'm 50 something, I believe.
Okay, that's fine. Once again, you don't have to be specific, but you've been doing things for a while. You're out of Boise, Idaho. That's why we're doing the online thing.
That's right.
You've been down there for years, right?
Like 15 now. Yeah.
Wow.
But when I left Spokane, I went to New York, then North Carolina, Virginia, then down to Boone, North Carolina. Then I went across to Arizona, then California. And then 15 years ago, I moved back to the Northwest, moved here to Boise, Idaho. So,
what took you to Boise instead of back to Spokane?
Paul moved here. And the hilarious thing about that is he said, man.
Paul is your younger brother.
Yes.
Okay, said Paul.
And the hilarious story about this, Vic, you're going to like this. I moved here, and he moved away, and 4 months later and never came back. Yeah.
Maybe he didn't like it. No, I'm joking. You guys.
Brotherly love.
Yeah,
this is great. I was in a house that was his, renting a room, and there were 5 other people. Oh, he knows how to make some money now. We had all these college kids, and it was like a frat party house. It was pretty funny.
And we did have Paul on a guest like 5-6 months ago, something like that. So, anything else you want to add about that situation?
Yeah, just a lot of touring and playing music. It was great. A great time, being able to see the country and living those different places. But I've, kind of settled down since my son. I decided not to travel and move as much, so. But he lives with his mom, and what's cool is we're actually in the same apartment complex. She and I aren't together, but they live across the hallway in another apartment. And he comes over, knocks on my door, and I live right here in my own apartment. At least till he's 18, then I'll go get, do my house or my own place.
Right. So, where'd you go to high school at?
University High School
in Spokane, Washington.
Yeah, Baptist Junior High.
Yeah, you graduated from university. Did you go to college after that?
I did. I went to Eastern.
What'd you do out there?
I did. I went there for 2 years, and that was in 83, 84. And then I went to Boise State when I moved here, and it was right when they were the football dynasty, when they won the Fiesta Bowl. So that was pretty cool. For 2 years, finishing up my graphic art. What's funny is I still haven't got the degree. I'm going to go back and finish it. I'm this close. I know, lifetime student. So, but I've been getting all this work doing graphic design and video.
Right.
So,
you don't tell me, I never graduated, but I can do your project. So after that, shortly after that, we met, we started playing music. I don't remember. It's been so. We played in band for quite a while. You were the lead singer. I was a drummer. We did cover gigs. We did some original stuff.
Did some originals even. Yeah, that's right.
Because that was always what we wanted to do long term. But and you still are doing original stuff, and the stuff is on YouTube. And how would they find that? I know we're kind of jumping around, but how would they find your stuff on YouTube?
They can get a hold of me. What's funny is the place where I was selling my CDs, I found out CD Baby, they no longer sell on there. So my links people can't even buy it right now. So I'll just say TomTaylorEntertainment.com. They can get a hold of me. There's an email there, or my Facebook, same thing, Tom Taylor Entertainment, or, so for now.
What inspired you? Because I know your sister, Kathy, was a singer in cover bands back in the day. I believe I met her first somehow, some way. I don't remember exactly, but I remember her being in bands and stuff. And then somehow we met and started performing, doing cover gigs around the Spokane area and such. And then at one time, however long we did our stuff, you moved on because it's at that point where you moved to New York. Yeah,
that was, I stayed around for about 2 or 3 years, played at like the Sheridan and some of the places downtown Spokane. And I was in about 2 or 3 more bands after ours, and then went to actually North Carolina, lived with my dad for a little while, met Carter, the guitarist for the band Moment of Silence. And then we moved up to Salisbury, Maryland, where the band was based out of, for just like 6 months. Within 6 months, we were auditioning for Star Search and got on.
Star Search, what year was that you guys were doing Star Search? Back in the day?
Back in the day. That was 91.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ryan and I did a quick search, just some of the people that were on Star Search back then, comedians, musicians, and had a list.
Norm, who just passed away.
Didn't see that.
Yeah.
Ryan, some of the other ones that we saw.
Kevin James.
Yep.
Romano.
Romano.
Sinbad. Britney Spears.
Was she on there?
Yeah, she was as a child. She was very young.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Sawyer Brown was the first band that won, I believe.
Yeah, and they had a lot of success.
I know the name, and I'm not.
Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake was on there apparently.
And Usher.
Usher. Yeah, we did research, Tommy. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, I see those ones I didn't even know about. So
live and learn. We're educating you.
Exactly.
So what inspired you to do the music thing? Because at this point, music and entertainment, and then doing the video editing, graphics, what you're doing now,
right?
Doing both. How'd you get there? I mean,
it's the perfect dual job, and here's how I got here. But The great thing about both of them are they're part-time gigs, and the music tends to be during the spring, summer, fall, and then it slacks off. And then during that time is when a lot of people want all their graphic art and their TV commercials. All these companies. So these two jobs are perfect for a part. I was full-time music for the last 10 years, pretty much. But then once I started really getting back into the graphic design and the video, and upping my video skills, I just did, it was a win-win having both of those. And what started me was we just talked about the music side of it, but the graphic design and all that too. What's got me really started doing the when bands and things would break up, where I'd be in a two-man act, yeah, I'd start, I would make more money, and I'd go, wow, I kind of like this. And then eventually, I love being in a band. I do. But man, to make it financially a one-man act, if you can get the gigs, I play wineries, events. It took me years to get to that circle, but I go where the money is. I joke, the closer you get to downtown, the later you're going to play, the more hours, the less money, the harder to park, the harder load in and load out. So I got further and further away from town and started making bank and be able to get home at 8 o'clock at night and go to sleep early. And
you can go to Utah. You've had
an hour, 2 hours.
Right. You've had gigs in Utah and other gigs that I remember we've talked about.
Right. Washington, Utah. I play all over the place. Yeah.
So, but you've been doing it for a while, even the solo acts for a while, so promoting what you're doing. So
right.
What's my best questions? Let's step back to Star Search. You met the guitar player Carter.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you guys decided to move to Maryland
because he had band members up there. Two of the other guys also that he was in the band with. He goes, man, if you were singing with us and we did this stuff up there. So when I got up there, the band was pretty much together already, ready, waiting for Carter and I. I moved up there with nothing. I mean, I brought a U-Haul up there, no job, no, Carter's or a friend of Carter's, the drummer. They let me stay in their basement for 2 months, and at
least you had some.
So I got a job pouring concrete.
How old were you about that time?
while doing the music.
How old were you when about that time? What year?
I was 26. Yeah.
You didn't have any, anything major. It's not like you had a wife and kids you had to deal with. You just had to take care of yourself and be in the band, figure out how to eat, right?
Exactly. And then, we went up to Baltimore. It was really cool. We auditioned, and right after we did it, I mean, they called us the next day and said, man, you're on, if you're flying to LA. And it was pretty cool. And we went out, filmed 3 shows and won all of them. And they go, we're flying you back in a month for the final 3. And if you make it that far, and then the semifinals and finals. So that's how they did it. We flew up there once and back, and then flew up there again a few months later, won the finals, and couldn't tell anybody for a couple months after we won. We're like, oh man, we couldn't tell anybody, or it was a breach of contract,
And the band won $100,000.
Yeah, 100. Yeah,
a recording contract.
And we got signed with Atlantic. You don't win a recording contract, but we were real fortunate. We had a really good music promoter, manager, and he was in with everybody. He was out of Virginia Beach, and but anyway, he got us hooked up with Paisley Park, and we were there for a month.
Let's clarify, what's Paisley Park to anybody that doesn't know what it is.
That's Prince's studio, and David Z produced us, who just got released Fine Young Cannibals, so he was on the top of the charts right when we were going up there to record. It's pretty cool. The only problem was we were a live band. We were like NXS meets U2 meets, we were a live band, and he started programming the drum machine. And our drummer didn't get to play, our bass player didn't get to play, and it was really deflating. And you hear those stories. He's a great producer, but he wasn't a great producer for us. We probably should have gone. We needed, in hindsight. But when you're a kid, going, man, this is it. We got David.
You got this. You're going to record, and
Right.
you're assuming. How do you know that? You look
Yeah.
back. Oh, sure, but back in the day, you're just probably a little overwhelmed with all that.
I was. And the coolest thing about that was when I met Prince, I was in the getting coffee. There's Studio A and Studio B, and I was in the middle in the getting some coffee in the little break room. And I look over and he's standing right there and he goes, "Hi, how is everything going in Studio B?" And I'm like, great, Prince.
You told me, because you told me that story just recently. You played it very
Yeah.
quick. Hey, what's up? Prince was very nice, correct?
He was. He took me around. We talked about sound treatment and stuff. So, I mean, I was really, I calmed down and we were just talking, down to earth. And he was really a cool guy when you just, weren't being starstruck around him. So,
right.
Yeah.
People are people. But being that's again still overwhelmed with everything else, then all of a sudden you're in Prince's studio, and they told you he wasn't gonna around, right?
Right. Yeah. We were like, oh, we aren't going to get to see him, and it was like 2 weeks later. We were there for a full month, so in the studio. So Atlantic spent a lot of money on us, and they were, hoping David Z. But like I say again, it's stuff like that happens. So.
Yeah, and back in the day, nowadays you can almost you produce your own stuff now,
Yes.
correct?
Right.
Video as well as music wise, and go on YouTube, you can find his stuff. Very catchy stuff. I actually gave you recently. I've actually finally got to watch several of the videos and listen to the music, and I was very impressed, Tom.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, brother.
What are obstacles besides lack of money and moving around? Why did you have back in the day?
Yeah, it. A lot of times it's in your own how you handle finances and things type of thing, and I always just spend every penny I have and then wait till the beginning of the month, like most people, and but I've gotten really good with money as I started to make more money, and learning how to I've kind of I'll save up my money like a squirrel does with and to make it through the winters and live within my means, and it's really been for those people that are getting that backlash from their folks or whatever saying don't be a musician, what I say is be a musician, but also you got to wear other hats in this day and age. You make money doing other things too.
Definitely.
But strive to make that the priority, and if you really work hard and do it right, you can have it be the bulk or the main income source. But there's a lot of things you have to do right.
And music is a business. That's something that I don't think I realized until later on. I performed all my adult life up until recently, recorded albums, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't realize the big bottom line for original, and things have changed so much with the internet and being online. And
yes, yeah.
I don't even know how it works these days. Besides, you got to be good.
Yeah.
You got to know your stuff, and you got to be able to follow it. Just like anything, it's hard.
You're right. Your biggest income is playing live still, but if you do start to make a lot of money, if you do start getting a lot of people that are interested in you or get a hit on the radio, then people take notice and you'll get more money. But the bulk of the money, you're not going to make hardly any money, even if you've got a couple thousand followers or whatever. You have to be pretty much in the millions in the YouTube, to monetize it like anything.
Yeah.
People with no talent who are just out there, taking a picture of, parts of their, whatever, I don't know, whatever they're showing these days. And, and getting millions of views. It's the same for musicians. And that's hard. That's, it's hard to get that. So you've got to roll up your sleeves and find the work locally playing. And then if you got that voice, or you get on a show like The Voice or something, and you do, that could open doors.
Obviously,
the big money,
right.
Yeah, it's difficult. It is.
So after Star Search, what happened besides you got a recording part of it didn't work?
Right.
How long after that till you left that band or the band broke up And then what did you do from there?
Yeah, so after Star Search, me and the guitarist played, Carter and I, for about a year, a two-man act.
Oh, nice.
And unfortunately, the you know our run wasn't that long as a band, and I feel bad about that. But a couple guys in the band, there was some troubles with, and just I think the whole how everything went down after the recording in the studio and everything. It just kind of broke us up. So, but me and the guitarist decided, well, let's just do a two-man act thing. We did that, and then from there, I went up to New York and I worked at I got a job. I figured I'd go where the music industry is, so I went to New York and I played CBGB solo. That was pretty cool. But yeah,
what?
Yes.
What was the name of the heebie-jeebies? I'm sorry.
CBGBs. It's a pretty famous venue. It's a small, really cool. A lot of people who've made it. Beck. A lot of these guys. It's kind of a cool vibe place. It's a small little room, and and then I got a really good graphic art job, and I had a girlfriend there, and so, but I wasn't doing the music as much. I had that graphic design. That's when I started transitioning. I was one of the beta testers for Photoshop. That shows you how long ago that was. It had just come out. So our company was, it was fabric, printing on fabric.
Oh, wow.
But I was doing the graphic side of it, working with printers and color matching, and it was pretty cool.
So you learned a lot there, and you're basically on the job training with that, but you're learning Photoshop.
Right.
But then you can play with it. So you're being paid to learn with this stuff. That opportunity doesn't always happen.
And I'd go to New York, I'd go to Central Park with my guitar, and of course you have to have a permit, and I didn't. So I'd open up my case and play, leave my case there, and I'd be looking like this the whole time. And police would come like every 5-10 minutes, and then I just close up my guitar and set it behind the one time a guy caught me. He goes, if you sucked, I was going to write you a ticket. So I guess I didn't suck that bad. So
you didn't get a ticket, though, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my New York story. Then I moved. Where did I move from there? Oh man, down to Boone, North Carolina. Like I say, I've been everywhere, man. Just like Johnny Cash, But then moved to California after that. Tim Starnes, our keyboard player, he and I are still really good friends, and he lives in California. He was the music editor for Lord of the Rings, The Departed. He's been in the music business too, and making bank and doing really well.
But he's not just in a band performing.
No, and he is though now. He actually is in a band for fun in LA, and they're really good. And he's the bass player. He doesn't play keys now; he's playing bass. So nice. He's a talented guy, a really good musician, and we're still great friends. I go down and visit him, and we call each other all the time. We work on projects together.
Nice.
So
wow. Yeah. After California, how long were you there roughly?
I lived there only 2 years, and then I came up to Boise. So.
Okay, so but for those 2 years, did you perform when you were in Cali?
I did, and I was a little more serious than New York. I started, making music connections and playing solo a lot, and getting my chops back. And so I never gave up. I was always still doing music, even in New York. But California, I was after it again, trying to get connections. And,
right. Well, Cali with LA was the hot spot, has been.
Right.
Past, so
exactly.
And then, so you were still doing video editing when you were in California?
In the video stuff, I hadn't started the video editing. I was still doing Photoshop, graphic design work.
Oh, okay.
I actually started the video right when I moved up here. So about 13-14 years ago is when I started getting into video, when I moved up to Boise from LA.
Wow. Tom, right now it's been an episode already doing the music. So let's
awesome.
Because we're going to dive more into when you hit Boise. You got 15 years of that. So right now,
okay.
Thank you for watching Career Paths by Infonet. Tom Taylor, second half coming up next week. Ryan, you're in the background. What do you normally do? Do we do anything in particular? Thank you for watching and listening to Career Paths. Please like, subscribe. Tom, you know all this stuff, don't you? Put it on. Leave a comment. Tom, you
That's
never
right.
left me a comment. That hurts. Now
Yeah.
And remember, it's your life. Make it happen. Till next time, Mr. Tom Taylor will be back. Second half of a story. Hang in there.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be back.
Ashes to ashes.
Okay.
Take 24. La, 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 la.
Career Path.